In this video, we're going to look at how to instantly create blog posts from your videos, including screenshots, with a new tool, Video to Blog AI. Let's get into it. So we've got this new tool here, Video to Blog AI. This is something I've dived into a few years ago of looking at easier ways to turn our videos into blog posts. We do this now with the combination of Claude prompts and stuff, but it's still a bit clunky, and also nothing grabs screenshots. So it's really challenging, especially when we have tutorial videos where we want to grab screenshots to show in the blog post the same thing that we're showing in the video. SEO blogs are a great way to attract search traffic that are looking for solutions. There are arguments if search traffic is declining because more people are getting their answers from blog posts, but I still think having an SEO strategy, especially if you already made the video, is a no-brainer and an easy way to just load your video and turn it into another piece of content that you can post on your blog. Or if you don't have a website, this tool can actually solve that for you. So I want to look at converting 3 different types of videos. These are 3 common types of videos that we deal with, and turning them into blog posts, and how this tool handles the types of formats of these blog posts differently. So the first one we're going to look at is tutorials. The next one we're going to look at is turning our podcast episodes into blog posts. And then we're going to look at turning product reviews into blog posts. All right, so let's start off first by turning a tutorial into a blog post. I'm going to hop over and grab our most popular tutorial video, how to use Descript. So I'm going to copy this link. And then in our dashboard area, if we click on the plus, we can start a new blog post, and we could either, we could paste our YouTube URL in here, or you saw the other options where we could upload a video or audio file if we already have one recorded. We can bulk generate, give it a list of YouTube videos that we want to generate, or if you want to freestyle and just talk and turn that into a more coherent blog post, you can record your audio directly and just say what you want to talk about and turn into a blog post. I'm going to give it our video, and we could either just leave everything on auto and start creating, but let me run through all of the options that we got here. We got a lot of really cool options, especially a lot of options focused on SEO and blog optimization, and features that I would normally see in other paid SEO blog specific tools, but they're already built in right here into Video to Blog. So first up under here, we can give it some direction or instructions if we want to, and it gives you some ideas of what you can say. I'm going to leave this blank for now, but if you wanted to give it some more direction, you can. Also, after you generate, you can regenerate a blog post if it doesn't have the exact style or direction that you want. And that doesn't cost any additional credits. I'll get into the pricing later, but basically you just get a certain amount of blog posts that you generate from a video, but regenerating doesn't cost anything extra. Length, you can pick how long you want. I'll just leave it on auto, but if you know you want to make sure that it is a long blog post, you can do that, except that it's telling us that our video is not long enough or recommended for a long blog post. Language, you can choose language if it is picking the wrong language, or if you want to give it some direction. Now, by default, it will use the transcript from your video as the base text of how it's going to create the blog post. I would always advise proofreading and uploading transcripts to your YouTube video. It helps with accessibility and just makes the quality better. And also it helps if it's being converted into other languages, especially really useful if you have a lot of common name or proper names, company names, product names in your video, technical terms. AI doesn't always pick that up well, transcribe that perfectly. But if you didn't do that, or if you just have the AI version of your transcripts on YouTube and maybe they're not that good, you can turn on their premium transcription, which is basically just using DeepGram to transcribe your audio into text. This doesn't cost anything extra. It just takes a little bit more time that you have to wait before your blog post is created. Because you'll see once I start generating, it starts writing the blog post from the transcript instantly. So if you just turn this on, you'll just have to wait a little bit longer for that to happen, but it doesn't cost anything extra. So then we got visuals, and this is pretty cool because we have some options for how we want to bring in or generate our thumbnail images. So you can either bring in your existing video thumbnail, you can use a stock image, or you can have AI generate one. And there's a couple of styles that you can pick from for how you might want your image to look. So I'll say editorial. And then you could say if you want it to not have text in the image, if you want to give it some direction with a custom prompt or add some text into the image. We can select if we want to embed our original YouTube video into our blog post. I do want to do that. And then we can also add screenshots. And so I definitely want to do that because this is a tutorial. And so that would definitely be helpful to show each step along the way. And then now linking. This is one of those cool blog features because links are really important and valuable to boosting your SEO score, both linking out to other websites for sources, but also linking internally to other relevant articles within your blog. So internal links are good for linking to other articles and also just kind of tells Google like articles in your website that are related. There's one slight challenge with this. It's more a specific issue for our website, because we have a news website, so we have a lot of articles. And so if I give it our website, it has a cap of indexing 500 pages. We have 600 pages, 649 pages. So we could add filters to your permalink paths to filter out certain categories. We use Beehive, so it doesn't have the best options of structuring permalinks to filter out what we don't want to include. I'll say I just want to use anything that's a post page, which has a P in it. We're still gonna have too many, but I'm gonna say okay. But it's gonna, even if you're also publishing more blog posts, which in theory you would be doing because you are turning your videos into blog posts to generate more blog posts, it's gonna cap it out at the first 500 pages that you index with the site as far as what it'll understand that it can internally link to. So I'll just say, yeah, go ahead, and we'll just do that. Okay, so a couple minutes, scan the site. That should be a one-time deal. And then you could also tell it if you wanted to search and add links from external sites to help give it more context. And then also if you have links in your description, which would logically be relevant, you could also tell it if you want to use those for linking, and uncheck ones because we have the subscribe links, but I'll leave these other kind of more relevant links in here so it could potentially use them for external linking. All right, and then we got options for writing style. So like I said at the beginning, you have the prompt where you can give it some general direction, but now we got a ton of options too of how we want it to write. If you have an existing writing sample, you can add that so it has something to reference on, which you could either give it a link, you could give it the text, you could give it a file. So a lot of great options here to give it a writing sample. And this is one of the secrets of AI, where if you're always like, why do my outputs kind of suck? A lot of the times it's like you just got to give it a good example of what you do want, so then it could model off of that and give you an output that is similar to something that you already like. So great that we got the option for that. And then over here, we've got a bunch of auto options for style, but you have a bunch of options here for tones. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you have a lot of options. And like I said before, you could regenerate posts too if you don't like the original output. So you can regenerate it and change some of these settings to try it. This one I like too. You could also modify the point of view if it writes things as I or we or you or third person. Then if you want to use emojis or not. And then as far as structure, format, you can say if it should just figure out what format to do by itself. But this is nice too, because this is good for if we did the interview, we know that we want to have it as an interview or a product review or a listicle or a tutorial. I'm going to leave it on auto again and just let it decide. But if we don't get the output that we're expecting, it's nice we can come in here and I can tell it it's a tutorial, but I'm gonna leave it on auto. And then also if we want to use the chapters as an outline, so if we already had some pretty good chapters in YouTube that we know like this is how we want the article to be structured, we can say, hey, use that as your guide. We can say if we want to add a table of contents, if we want to add an FAQ. FAQ is handy for SEO because it's sort of a hack to add questions at the end that people might be typing. So that way, if people do type it in Google, it shows up, it helps you show up higher to answer their question. If you want to add video attribution, you could add that here. I'm not going to do that because we already have the video embedded in the article. And then if you want to add some sort of call to action at the end, that is also kind of styled. So I'm going to say no. And then even more options, SEO. If we want to know there's a primary keyword or something that we want to target, you can type it in here. And then miscellaneous time range. So if there's a section of the video that we wanted to ignore, maybe if there's, I don't know, an ad pre-roll or something, you can drag this so it ignores parts of the video. And then there were a lot of options here. So maybe you find a mixture that works for a certain type of video you have that you might want to call up in the future. We can save this as a template, which is nice to have so that it does it. We don't have to redo all these settings in the future if we find a good mix of something that we like. And now I'm just going to click Create Blog Post. Okay. And now it is writing out our post. I'm clicking and it's telling me don't click, wait. But you can see it's already writing it out and it's already got some good formatting in real time. One thing I could see is it wrote out my channel name as the kind of formatting that I have, because it wrote out the channel name as the full channel name, where that would make more sense to be like, we'll walk you through. So maybe I'll go back in and change it to second person. As far as the writing style. Yeah, I mean, the formatting is great. Look, it already got the headings, the sections. It also broke down into list form all of the individual elements. When we're talking about Descript interface, a bullet list form of the individual elements makes a lot of sense of how you would format a blog post so it's easy to read. How to import and transcribe our media, video frame size for social media, editing video by editing text. So yeah, this is looking really great. We've got our FAQ section. What types of projects can I create in Descript? Something that someone would probably search for. And then the answer here is saying that you could search for both video and audio-based projects. And now it's writing it first, and then it's going to add the links, and then it's going to add the screenshots. Okay, and so first up, we got our AI-generated sketchy style thumbnail. So kind of cool. It captured the computer video editing vibe. You could always also regenerate if you don't particularly like it. We've got our introduction. We've got our links. If we select the text and hit the link, we can see where it's going to. And this is cool. This is an internal link linking to another video of ours or another article of ours that talks about Descript. And so that's awesome that it identified Descript and is linking directly to a relevant blog post on the website. Same thing here. It is also linking to a relevant post on the website. We've got our video embedded in a nice spot right after the introduction paragraph. And then we have our thumbnails, and we have our screenshots. So we can see it grab the screenshots. As you can see here, this is maybe not the best looking screenshot. So there are a lot of options too. It's nice that you have a little timeline so you can select better screenshots if it didn't grab the right moment or grab an awkward pose. You could also click in here, and if you want to just scrub to the exact moment that you want to use, we can say, let's say we want this full screenshot instead. And so it's nice we can just manually override that. And I will say, it's really fast and responsive, not a lot of waiting for making adjustments. And there's even a full-blown image editor in here too. So if we wanted to crop or zoom in on the image, if we wanted to annotate or mark things up, we can do that right here. We can redact or blur things out, add some decoration, some frames. So a lot of creative control over the images built into the editor, and it's a really fast, responsive, powerful editor. And look, now it's done. It's already updated. So you can just kind of scroll through and modify the screenshots, modify the text, and see where, any changes you want to make. Like I mentioned at the top, you can regenerate if you want to give it another go. I'm not going to do that for this example, but if you're like, maybe you didn't really get the format right, or maybe we want to regenerate and do second person so it doesn't say things like refer to our channel name as ourselves, you can do that. Also, on the side here, it's got this pretty cool SEO Meter Bar. They said that the score detail kind of comes from how long the article is, how it's structured, keyword. You can kind of see the breakdown here. This reminds me of something that you might have seen, and if you're in the SEO world, of like Surfer SEO, where it kind of uses AI to help write and optimize blog posts and looks at a number of signals as far as length and how many external links, internal links you have, and kind of gives you a score. Ranking. It's saying 100%. Always have to take these with a grain of salt, but it's just kind of nice just to see, get a gauge of how the blog is shaping up. And if you have a specific keyword, you can analyze that keyword to see how well it is ranking or performing with their analysis. And if, let's say, we're trying to target Descript, we got a decent density. It's in the title, it's in the description, yada, yada. Also, in addition to writing the blog post, it will also write all of your metadata and social media marketing posts. So we've got a title, we've got a description, we have our featured image, promotions that wrote out a formatted Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, yada, yada, all that stuff post. There's no scheduling built into here, but it wrote it all out. You could rewrite it if you want. There isn't any way to sort of give it some direction on how you want the social media post to go, but it's great that it has these options here, and then you can just copy it out and paste it into whatever tool you use to schedule out your posts. And then also just your preview of how things would look on X or Facebook. And then over here and more, you can kind of check out your revision history, see the transcript that it's pulling from, go back to the original video, or download all of the images. And now let's say, okay, we're good to go. We want to export this or publish it to our blog. Video to Blog does have a built-in blog platform, so you can host your website or your blog on Video to Blog. You can create a publication here and make up a title and host it on their site if you don't already have an existing blog, but you want some written content that you can share. And then also there's a bunch of options to export. You can export as an HTML file, as a Markdown file. We use Beehive, and I found that copying the Markdown format here, it copies all the text and shows formats it properly, but it also copies the image and where the images are located. And just copying this and pasting this into Beehive in our blog editor or post editor has worked fine. So that's great, but you can also download it as a Word doc. You can download it as a PDF. And then if you do have a supported platform, which they support pretty much all of the main common big blog platforms, you can connect and publish it or push it directly from here. And they did say that they are going to add a webhook / Zapier integration so that you could just push it to Zapier and then connect it to anything that is supported on Zapier, which could be a whole host of apps, tools, connections, things you can do with this. That's a good overview of all the tools and stuff. And this is a good example of a tutorial with screenshots, but I want to do another example for a different type of video. So more of like an interview style video, something where we would want to use quotes from the interview, and it would be a different format than screenshots and how-to videos. It would be more about quoting and formatting. So I'm just going to leave everything on auto and off. Let's say I want to embed the video for the featured image. I want to use, let's see what the stock image does. I haven't tested this out yet. It doesn't give me any options, but let's see what that does. Let's say, yeah, we want to use internal and external links and links from the video. So I would wish there's a option to turn everything off. That would be handy for right now. All right, and we'll leave everything else on auto and create the blog post. And now you can see it's pulling the transcript and writing everything out. Pretty good, pretty accurate intro. I like here that it actually quoted Bryn. So it also I didn't really give it any direction of that, like, Bryn is the guest and Addie and I are the hosts and that you should focus more on Bryn. I didn't tell it any of that. It automatically figured out that, like, Bryn is the featured person and gave a quote of something that he said from the interview as quoted in the article. And then even here too, I like this too. It gave block quotes of things that Bryn said, and actually did a pretty good job paraphrasing it with the ellipses. And it's a pretty good quote too. So like pulled out a pretty good quote, something that like I agree, like, yeah, this is a good quote to feature in the article. So awesome job with that. And then continue to scroll. The sections, pretty much hit them on the dot. Like these are good sections, and also a good job with building out things to turn into bullet point lists. Okay, because we talked about computer renderings. This is a link where I'm like, maybe this wouldn't have been the best link for RenderMan, but not a big deal. And then Uncanny Valley. Yeah, this was another article where we mentioned Uncanny Valley. So linking is pretty much on point. I will say the one thing up here, this thumbnail doesn't make the most sense, but it's probably just looking at keywords in the article and looking at whatever stock photography site they have a connection with. This might be more relevant, but I would, at this point, probably say that I would just change this image. Don't seem to be, let's see, can I generate? Oh, it does give us a credit here. So yeah, it's from Unsplash, which is a free and public site to grab stock images. Doesn't seem like I could switch to generate an AI image, but you can come in here and like I mentioned before, it's got a pretty powerful text editor. So you can come in here. I didn't cover this in the previous article, but you can select text. You can see here we could use AI to help edit the article, generate an image from the selected text, and then all of our basic formatting tools that we'd expect in any basic text editor. But coming back here, I can come back and just generate another AI image in that same style. And it's automatically generated a prompt from the article. So didn't seem like there was an easy way up here to regenerate the thumbnail image if I wanted to make an image. If I wanted to change my mind and not use the stock image and use the thumbnail image or use an AI generated image, but we can just come in here and generate a new image. It's got film elements. It's a little arty. Let's say, yeah, sure, we'll use that. And I'll just delete this, and there we go. Got another alternative. So yeah, another good example. I say successfully worked. And then now let me just try a third option for a product review. And for this, let's try a slightly different tone of voice. Well, first off, let me make a different type of AI generated thumbnail image. And let's say, yeah, we want to add screenshots. We want to add the video. I want the point of view to be, let's say, second person. Let's say, yeah, we do want emojis. And we want FAQ. Let's go with that one. All right, this one looks like we probably didn't actually give it proofread transcripts because it spelled my name wrong, but phonetically does sound correct. But that's probably because we didn't update the captions on the video. Now, one thing though, if you did use DeepGram, I didn't see an option to give it a trained set of vocabulary words if you have your company name or proper names on the team. So that's one thing that might be coming out in the future, but something to be aware of too if you are relying on DeepGram to do the transcribing, that there isn't an option right now that I saw for adding a custom library of known terms. Okay, we've got a very dramatic thumbnail illustration here. That's all right. So yeah, it's got our outline. So we've got some emojis. We did say emojis. So yeah, we'll add emojis. Preventing Flickr, how to prevent it in the first place, the Flickr free plugin. Some tests, some screenshots, listing out features, so good job with bullet points, and FAQ, what causes flickering? Can I fix flickering without reshooting? Yes, tools like Flickr Free, which we talk about here. So yeah, another great job turning this into a well-formatted article. Now, let me explore a couple other options that we've got here in the tool set inside Video to Blog. So in our dashboard, we can see everything that we've already generated. Over in publications, this just goes back to what I said before. If you don't have an existing blog and you want to use Video to Blog to host your blog posts, you can just create a publication here and it'll automatically publicly host the blog for you. Automations, this is great. If you want to bypass the individual copy and pasting that we just did, you can just give it your YouTube channel and then it will automatically generate a blog post every time you upload a new video. And then depending on your plan, which I'll go into in a second, you can add team members as well so that you're all in the same shared space. So someone else can come on your team, upload videos or edit videos or edit the output blog posts, grab the blog posts that were generated here. So everyone's working in the same shared space. And then these are the integrations where you can connect to your YouTube channel to pull in new videos or to your blog to publish the videos. Our usage, and then general info. So yeah, now a few things that I have on my feature request list. Now you did notice that when we come here, pretty much the only supported video link is a public YouTube video. When I first found out about Video Blog, the first thought that came to mind was this would be really great for turning Loom recordings of SOP, standard operating procedures, how-to videos, more internal stuff into Google Docs or a text file with screenshots and how-to explanations. This is a big pain point from internally with our team of trying to go down this rabbit hole of quickly being able to film the process of like how you do something, but then turn it into a document that is easily referenceable in the future so you don't have to go back and play a video to figure out how to do one thing. There are a lot of tools out there that'll be like, oh yeah, we'll turn your video into a blog post, but none of them do screenshots. They all just take the text and kind of turn it into an SOP. This tool, obviously because it can take screenshots, would be extremely powerful with that. So they did say they might support Loom in the future, but what you could do is you could just download your video from Loom or however you screen recorded your video and then just upload it as a video file here. But I think this is going to be a great use for internal stuff where you just have all of those how-to videos for your team, and you want to turn it into a written document with screenshots. So it's got a lot of tools to just really make it easy to churn out how-to guides, both publicly for the web, but also just internally for your team. And then my other wishlist feature would be a webhook or some way to connect to Zapier to push these posts out, and also the social media elements, push it out to other platforms that might not be supported here, but they did say that that would come in the future, and it's on the roadmap. All right, now pricing. With the monthly plan, you've got the starter pack, which is about $20 a month, and that is 10 blog posts a month. One user, one publication, kind of one of everything. And then there's a few limitations on some of the stuff we covered, like no external linking, no AI images, no deepgram transcription. So that you don't get in the basic plan or the starter plan. But then you have the pro plan, which is $49 a month. And for that, you get 30 blog posts, so a little bit less than $2 a blog post. And that enables team features, so you can bring on additional users. You're all just basically pulling from the same 30 blog posts per month. You can have multiple publications, automations, and then you get the extra features like AI-generated images, premium transcriptions, bulk generation, all of that stuff. You're basically just, as a team, working off of 30 blog posts a month. And then there is an even higher level, basically all the same features, but for $100 a month, you could do 100 blog posts. And so now you're just basically getting down to $1 a blog post, which for the specificity and accuracy it does, if you're already doing a lot of videos and want to capitalize on doubling down on the work you're already doing on the video, this is a pretty much no-brainer for turning it into a valuable blog post or a document or PDF or a lead gen magnet or like any other list of things of content repurposing. The quality here is excellent. It saves tons of time. Like $2 a blog post is a really good bargain for what it does. And so yeah, it's a great value. And also, even if you're not churning out public YouTube videos, the fact that you could just sort of talk and speak into the platform directly and turn it into a blog post, or use any of your screen recordings or pre-recorded videos, and it'll turn it into a nicely formatted blog post. So yeah, I'm glad that this tool has popped up on our radar. We're definitely gonna be using it to help speed up our process of turning our existing videos into blogs. And yeah, keep you posted on how that goes in the future. But if you're looking for a powerful tool to turn your videos into blogs, highly recommend Video to Blog AI. Links and everything to sign up are down below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.